the last few weeks, hearing from submitters, and thank you all for your submissions. What I read from those things most of all is the lack of understanding of what we were actually proposing, and that could be largely due to the complexity, but also possibly our lack of engagement and having to do better in that sense on what we're proposing. It also meant that we as councillors were asking for more and more additional information as it came through. But like Martin has touched on, for me, it's been the deprivation index, not so much your ability to pay because of the capital value on the land, but also how it culminates with all the other changes that we've made and proposed. And for those reasons, I'm going to have to oppose the land value status quo motion for the support of changing to capital value. We've all had a chance to speak. Would you like the right of reply, Councillor Harding?
Yes, I would, thanks. Look, and first I'd just like to welcome the debate that we've had. This is probably the hardest and in some respects, most opaque decision that we have to make. There are deep questions of which values. There's not one set of values that you can adopt. It depends on the weighting of your judgment and the values that you choose to ascribe to. I have a huge sympathy for the general proposition that those with more capital on average can have more long-term affordability. But the devil is in the detail when it comes down to the practicalities of those most disadvantaged, and as I spoke to before, the totality effect of what we have got agreement of, that I've landed on the side of staying with the status quo. That's not to say that I want to demonise my colleagues who have weighed things up differently. Quite the contrary, I just welcome the debate we've had. I could nickel and dime a number of you on some of the points you've made, but I won't. I'm still somewhat disturbed about the evidence or lack of it, the clarity of the evidence that we have around the low socioeconomic, because the table that we've been referring to is not the table that everyone thinks that they're referring to. However, move on, let's have a vote, and I think we've done a good job on this today. Thank you.
Okay, so as the motion sits, option number 6, or recommendation 6, all those who agree say aye. And, could you raise your hand, please, so we can count numbers? Thank you.
Status quo.
Status quo. 1, 2, 3, 4. And those against? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That has been turned down.
Can I call for division to be our names noted?
I'm not sure if, unless those who agreed want their names noted.
Yes, please. Yes, I'd like to get recorded.
It's Councillor Harding, Councillor Foley and Councillor Van Beek and Councillor Lambert. Okay, that leaves us with...
I'd like to move 3 and 5.
Okay, so number 5 agrees to consult concurrently via the long-term plan on amendments to the rates remission policies to reduce the impact on standout ratepayers on the utilities role. Okay. Do we have a seconder for that?
I have a second.
Thank you, Councillor Cooten. Would you like to speak?
No, I think I've covered everything, and I really only moved that to expedite the process rather than that as a reflection of how decisively I've landed on that.
Thank you. Councillor Cooten? No?